they just have a lot of power to get the people in that they want. And I don't know particularly about what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I just wonder if they're involved in like senatorial campaigns as well.
They're involved in, yeah, they just, behind the scenes, you won't see them out there in front of anything, but behind the scenes, I think they get together and decide who they think should run, and then they find the organizations to support them and the people to support them. But
They're Dallas
the
Citizens
big
Council.
money.
I know.
Houston Dallas Citizens Council.
Can I say something
Up
about
in Dallas.
that? The Greater Houston Partnership is behind a group called Texans for Sensible Immigration Policy. And I'm glad you brought this up because I needed to talk about this. That group is headed up by a gentleman by the name of Norm Adams. For those of you that are active in the Texas GOP, he's been very involved for many years in the GOP. Norm Adams, don't believe it when you hear sensible immigration policy, because it's not. He is intending to be at the convention. He's trying to change our enforcement-only platform on immigration, and he's come up with this plank that asks for illegals to be ID'd and taxed. Well, the problem with that is that we can't really ID these people. That's part of the problem. We're going to be relying, since Mexico is primarily where our illegal aliens come from, we're going to be relying on the Mexican government to tell us who these people are. They don't care if they are criminals. They just want the remittances. So that's the first problem with Norm Adams' idea. The second thing is he keeps talking about guest worker programs. We have guest worker programs. We have about 25 of them, visa programs, and they've got so much fraud that they're not very effective. But I hope those of you that are at the convention, I want you to be aware of this, because we really need to fight this effort that he has. We need the enforcement-only platform that we have up there. So I just kind of want to let you know about that. And we'll give you information to David about that.
Can I add a point, sorry, to the folks here from the any Tea Party groups? I know that there are people, powerful Washington insiders, who have associated themselves with your movement. And two of them are our worst enemies, Grover Norquist and Dick Armey.
Yes.
Former congressman from Houston. These people will fight us on immigration. They want open borders. Dick Armey and Grover Norquist have pushed harder than anyone else. Grover Norquist is the very prince of darkness, I can promise you that. I would hope a movement began, I know, in the Tea Parties about a month ago. I began to start reading about Armey getting a lot of mail on this. But don't trust this guy. I mean, talk about AstroTurf. It's about bucks and money and power, and I thought the Tea Party was a grassroots movement. You've got two big, fat Washington insiders who are beholden only to special interests.
Okay, right.
My turn?
Yes, your turn.
Thank you. I'm so glad that the subject of Norm Adams came up. He's a good friend of mine, and we have served together on the State Platform Committee. He's not on there this time, but I am. He knows where I stand against this plan that he's proposing. How many of you are delegates to the convention? I urge you to please plan to sit in on the platform cheap labor. So that's Norm's thing. I love him dearly, but not, he knows we're not together on that. And then I just have one comment. Talking about this not coming up during this session. You may be right on that, but keep in mind that Obama is going to need all of these illegals' votes once amnesty is granted, and during the lame duck session, after all of the flags settled, it could be brought up again before the new...
I agree with you. The only scenario that scares me is a lame duck session. The only thing that gives me hope there is that Obama intends to run for the presidency again. I don't think he's going to get it, but he intends to run again. And he does not want immigration reform around his neck. He does not like it. Rahm Emanuel has been telling him from day one, don't touch it. It's a loser with the American people. Obama has gone out of his way to antagonize the Hispanic community. It's absolutely fascinating. You know, we may despise him for every other reason, but he has not pandered to that community because he knows it's poison politically in the majority culture.
You know, I'm just a normal person.
person, like most of us here, that are so frustrated beyond belief, and we are starving for leadership. Somebody that will really speak out for us on a national level. Like you said, the Republicans, they're all like hiding under the table. Nobody will step forward. Nobody's got any backbone to speak for what Americans, true legal Americans, I should say, really, really want. From a Texas standpoint and from a national standpoint, do you folks have a name? Do y'all know somebody?
Alan West.
Alan West.
Alan West.
Yep.
Yes.
There he is.
What about Ken Archer? Where does he stand on this?
No, I mean, you're talking about a candidate that's.
I'm talking about a leadership role, whether it's running for office or whether he's a great speaker that can get people riled up. Full fact. You know, you think you have a leadership role, or you hear somebody on the big army, and then you hear this at the table for this. Well, who can you believe? I'm so cynical of that so much, and I so want leadership. And you see the governor of Arizona who steps up to the table and does the right thing, and her president is shut up. Right. So that tells you we're dying. Texas is too.
I mean, I don't have any doubt that anyone would actually stand up and get them. The issue is money. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. The issue is money. It's not even party endorsement. Okay, I live in New York. We have a Senator, Gillibrand, who came from an upstate county where she was supporting gun rights and she was against illegal immigration. She came down to New York City. She had an epiphany. Oh, there are Hispanic people here. And suddenly she became one of the leading voices for open borders immigration. And I remember one of the funniest things I read was an article in a Democrat newspaper in New York, and said, well, 21% of this state is immigrant. And I was thinking, well, doesn't that leave 79%? Isn't that a bigger number? I mean, the point is, you could walk into the Senate in any state, I believe, and you could walk into the White House with a candidate on this platform. We just need some big money. It's not the issue. It's money. The parties have the money. That's the lock. That's the lock they've got.
Please don't give to the Republican National Committee. Give directly to
Yes.
conservative candidates,
Yes.
only wherever they are in America.
Give them in. Give them in.
I heard a quote the other day on talk radio, and I think it kind of succinctly sums up what you were talking about special interest money and services industry money and chamber of commerce and stuff like that, and the reason that there's not enough willpower on either side to really solve what is a somewhat intractable problem. I mean, it's got a lot of complexity to it, and I think what they said is basically the Democrats want the illegal immigrants to vote but not to work, and the Republicans want them to work but not to vote. And it's about as clean a summary as you can see of the whole situation. And the money for the service industry is all about that working, but we'd rather them just do their 9 to 5 and then disappear into the shadows of the night until tomorrow's shift. And
one response that I have to this whole business about bringing in labor. And by the way, here we are. We talked about. We all know where the economy is. We all know. I mean, I talked about the 25 million Americans out of jobs. This is the worst unemployment since the Great Depression. Meanwhile, the federal government is bringing in every month 125,000 foreign workers, while Americans can't get work. We are evolving right now into a knowledge-based, post-industrial society. We do not need any more unskilled labor, not a single unskilled worker again from anywhere else in the world. We have 73 million Americans. 10 million of them are legal immigrants who have nothing more than a high school education. Those people are already suffering mightily from the transition of this economy from an industrial service sector economy into a knowledge-based economy, where everything is depending on education. What do we have in the cohort that we're getting from Mexico? And by the way, I don't call them immigrants. I call them transnational migrant workers. Transnational migrant workers. 62% have never finished high school, and